I would see that being more reason why construction may find itself up there. Like fucking, crack open one of the locked up
Yeah.
segments. And
I mean, I think Gary could carve out like a spot in that place to do this. It just depends on how many people is going to be up there.
well, I'm not
also-
saying that
yeah.
space that currently exists, but another facility.
No,
Maybe
but
even
just in the meantime, while waiting on another place.
Yeah, I think facility or no facility, it does make sense to put people in Bolingbroke for this kind of thing, but I would also say that it would maybe be necessary to have additional support for DOC up there, in terms of either like having the ability for doctors to go in and out, in order to give support for, people uh, who are sick in there, but also, maybe marshal support for DOC in there, in case anything happens in that regard.
Well, they can. So, in the meantime, work around just spitballing here. If someone is considered a 5150 with black vein fever, we send them up, but have DOC before you send them up. Make sure DOC are aware and to know that intercept them and maybe put them in AdSec. Maybe a section in AdSec where they can't escape. I know that I think there's like a large open cell area. That way, if you're dealing with patients that are claustrophobic, which I know Chatterbox is, we're not dealing with a whole nother situation there. So temporarily put them in AdSec. That way they're not being a current danger inside the prison, infecting everyone else.
I would also point out though that they, we've had the issue in the past a couple of times where people in prison have died because there's not enough medical personnel in there, and if they're not being taken care of sufficiently. And I would be very worried that, especially because you've got Christian Toe as the only doctor able to get in there. EMS can't go into the prison. Doctors can't go into the prison except for, I guess, with marshal approval. And the worry would be if you put them in AdSec
Marshal
and
approval.
forget about them for a certain amount of time, you might end up with a bunch of dead people. And that's, they're a danger to everyone else, but they're also in danger because they have a disease that could kill them.
Who's to say that doctors can't go into Bolingbroke?
Our head doctor, the board of directors. We've never had the authority to go into Bolingbroke. Our only authority is within the Central Medical Center and Sandy Shores Medical Center.
Well, I think this is beyond like a scope of authority, though. I mean, we're dealing with a plague. I feel like they should weigh this a little differently than you guys just rolling up there at will.
What are next steps? Who would need to sign off, or there's a lot of opinions here, but is it fair to say we're kind of going in circles at this point? Who would be the decision makers on this, one way or another?
I think it'd have to be probably, in terms of prison staff, it's probably got to be a decision between the warden, justices, and then I guess the mayor's office. Well, obviously, the doctors
I don't
do.
know, the mayor's offices would matter.
Sorry,
Keep in mind
again?
here as well, this I feel like this should only be used in a sense of like if it's someone who's actively not going to listen, because people have willingly quarantined up at
That's true.
Sandy, and I think that should be respected. If they're willing to just be up there like they should, then they should be able to, like, because we've had plenty of patients that have done that now. Princess was one of them. Barrick was fine, and so so was Ember. They all willingly sat there like they should have and were fine. So I don't want to put people in a situation where they should be in be put in prison for no reason ultimately. Like if they're willing to be up at Sandy, I think that is a perfect mechanism as long as they're willing to stay there in quarantine correctly.
Yeah, like extreme cases of 5150 and extreme cases of patients that need to be quarantined for public health.
Yeah.
Like, correct me if I'm wrong. I'm just clarification question. Isn't 5150 for people who
It's usually a
are?
psych thing, right?
Yeah, I thought it was like
Mhm.
a psych thing,
So
but I
it's
guess
But I mean-
cycled, and there's no legislation
So why does that
for it
apply
right
here?
now.
Well, like,
It's two separate topics with a similar
Yeah.
solution.
Yeah.
it
Okay,
could be
so-
argued that
okay.
someone who's willingly going around infecting people with a lethal disease is, perhaps psychologically compromised.
I mean, I would argue that you could say that about half the city. But yes, I understand what you're saying.
I wouldn't say that there's necessarily overlap. It's that it's two cases in which we haven't had a mechanism by which to handle them. But in
I see
both
what you're
cases,
saying.
they can be very egregious, like a person that might murk people and eat their flesh. They become a danger to society and themselves. I feel like this kind of it would, if something needed to be put forward, it probably needs to start with Sama, and then maybe sign off by all legislative authorities, since it hits, the
Every
mayors in
sector.
terms of, like the what's the word I'm looking for? Because it is a restriction of freedom, right? But then it
Yeah.
falls into Sama in terms of the medical aspects, both the psych aspect and the the disease aspect, and then of course a Department of Justice, since you guys operate, the DOC runs under you.
Mhm.
I also think in general, the whole doctors not being allowed in the prison thing has only caused problems. Disease aside, there have definitely been multiple situations where the prison just doesn't have enough medical staff, and someone is severely injured or sick, and fixing that issue, I think, is perhaps
It's a
broader
meeting
scope
about
than what
the
we're discussing right
plague
now, but I
stuff,
think it's very
Sabine,
important.
that we didn't know about until like before the meeting had already started. So
When you guys say it's like a board of directors thing, that's like Derek Shaw.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I
Mhm.
forgot about that. Right. Wait, do you think they'd be on board with this?
It's a 50-50 because it's very hard to try and get in contact with him
Where's
at the same
V?
time.
Is he even aware that
No idea.
there is?
Mm-hmm.
Is he even aware of black vein fever?
If
we
we're talking about Derek,
informed
he's a
him.
little bit, yes. He's not like fully informed by any means because he hasn't asked many questions, but he has been told that it exists. Yes.
Yep.
I contacted him, I think 2 weeks ago. He can weigh in when needed.
Yeah, he said that to me too, but never got back to me on something.
I think if, let's say, something like this needed to move forward on, I personally think the best option would be having a piece of legislation and then sending it his way and being like, here's the problem set, here's the solution, here's the legislation, what's your opinion, or what's the contention points, and then going from there.
I got slightly distracted. What are we asking, Derek?
If we were to move forward on this, like, solution for 5150 holds
Gotcha.
and
Okay. Yep. Just wanna
for
make sure.
extreme quarantine holds, given the board of directors would need to weigh in on that.
That's fair. Yeah, I can push it to him and see what his thoughts are on it as well. But I do think what you said is good. Probably get the legislation written that way he can kind of look over it and see what it entails and make a decision based off that.
I know this is your meeting
all
there,
these
so
phone
I don't want us to
calls,
hijack it.
boop,
Was
boop,
it? Is this? Did we talk about the black vein thing sufficiently, or are there other areas that you wanted to discuss in regards to?
I think
Benny.
we talked about most of it, but then it's also the I want the marshals to I want to ask the marshals a favor and to keep on checking humane labs
True. Yeah, I think that's something that we need to discuss more in detail.
because my contact with Inhumane Labs I know that Chris has already taken a report for this, so Doc, you should be able to see it.
Mhm.
Yeah, Princess, I didn't tell you this fully because I wanted to wait till we weren't on the phone call to each other.
Yeah, of course.
There was 112.5 milliliters of treatment for the black vein fever that was destroyed at Humane Labs.
What the fuck?
Yes,
That's like 300 something.
that's enough for
And
300 patients.
What, 3 days ago?
Intentionally?
I don't know. I don't know if this was intentional or not, but somebody went in there and destroyed it.
Yeah, it was as far as I'm aware, there was an interception to a transport that the individuals intercepting it may not have known what they were destroying. They were doing so for, it was like a contracted thing.
They were just told to destroy things, basically.
Yeah, they weren't told what they were doing. Mercenary kind of thing.
What I was
They admitted
told,
this?
I got
No.
contact from Dr. Smith, the individual involved, and he said he had no hand in this.
That's what he told me as well.
Right, so in other words, it's not credible information.
That's another thing.
I haven't.
But who was the contact in Humane Labs, though? I mean, you have one besides him.
We're keeping that
the name secret because
confidential.
Oh, right. I'm not asking for the name.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, did someone say this that wasn't Dr. Smith?
Wait,
or was it all like was Dr. Smith the only person that has said something about this?
Oh,
in which case,
Dr. Smith said that, but the thing is, I was told by my contact about the entire thing. I've been in communication with them to try and hopefully get the treatment and hopefully help in some way. But since that incident,
I
he's
got
not
questions about this,
me.
Perry. So this contact inside Humane Labs that supposedly had this cure, were we? I guess PD and law enforcement.
You were informed originally of the original, because there was one shipment I was meant to get, but that one was stolen.
Is that the one?
Right,
about a month
I remember
ago?
that, but I'm on about this one that you're on about.
This one, I was only informed about literally a couple days ago when he told me it was destroyed. I didn't even know there was a shipment coming to me.
Why would we not have been informed about the actual transport so we could protect it?
I think I don't know either. That's why
there were no reports made in regards to information about the transport either. I scrubbed through them and looked.
And I'm assuming we have no idea who it was that intercepted it.
There are, I believe, PD has possibly pinpointed somebody who might have done it, a group that might have done it, but they're working on possibilities right now. They don't know, but it lines up, is what they said.
So it sounds to me like law enforcement had no idea, and there may potentially be a police report about, some blown up thing, and inside of it might be a bunch of like rotting, treatment. I guess. I'm with you entirely, Dark. I'm floored by this as well.
Yeah. I will say, and I'm not trying to kind of sow dissent here or whatever the fuck the term is, but I've got valid intelligence that there was individuals inside Humane Labs, at least prior, that were working with the faceless. So we've got to take everything that comes out of anybody at that lab with a grain of salt. And I recommend relying on people in the SAMG to try and figure this out versus outside sources.
Yeah, and I don't like the aspect of using Humane Labs right now very much, but I mean, like, also we've coming up empty on trying to create our own. So I unless they're willing to share their information so that we can actually try and produce it ourselves, I don't know what we can do.
If we had gotten those treatments, I imagine that wouldn't have necessarily even been like we don't even know what that is.
Humane Labs isn't a conglomerate, though, right?
What do you mean?
So when I sort of rewind history way back to like a year ago, with the original black goo, and then the situation, like I think it was like a week or so afterwards, with the faceless and some scientists, and fast forward again, there's like this entity working in humane labs, another entity. What I'm trying to say is that the humane labs, the people that work there aren't necessarily a conglomerate.
I get what you're saying. There's a lot of shit that goes down at humane labs.
Precisely. And,
yeah.
and I am, from my understanding, there are individuals quite legitimate that have worked out of humane lab.
No,
The
yeah,
problem
yeah.
is verifying the
right.
legitimacy, right?
Yeah, and especially of an actual product that comes out of there. I think probably
No. Pause.
the only
Yeah.
use of that treatment would have been for you guys to test on it and see if there's a way to learn from it. But I don't think that it would have made sense to.
Well,
I
did the
mean,
serum
actually give people that?
But so this antidote, or whatever you want to call it,
Treatment.
did it come out of humane labs? Is that what was destroyed?
Yes.
Yes.
So we know that it was manufactured at humane labs and it was supposed to make its way to the hospital.
Supposedly.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we know that they are producing these treatments at humane labs. That for a fact we know. As far as this,
do we even
shipment,
know anyone over there?
She has a contact.
Yeah, only my contact.
And that contact works for humane labs?
Yes.
How much do you trust them?
Like, is it? Do they even have credentials?
Everything they've told me so far has been very truthful.
But do you trust that they are
Mhm.
producing legitimate treatments? Do you know who they work for? Do you know who's paying them? I mean,
I got
telling
one
the
of the-
truth is one thing. Dr. Isaac Smith tells the truth.
One of the treatments that was stolen back in the day, that's one of the ones I took.
I feel like I just missed
That
a
was
chapter.
forced.
Isn't Dr. Isaac Smith the guy that spreads the plague? I mean, the last
Mhm.
last thing I
Yes.
know is the book.
Yeah, no, he does. I only brought him up
Yeah.
because there's people who tell the truth but are still not to be trusted.
This person, I believe, is to be trusted. Everything he said to me has been truthful so far.
And just to clarify, there's a difference between this treatment and the cure that Dr. Isaac produces.
From what I can tell, possibly, yes.
Okay.
So this like biological terrorist is also making cures to his own terrorism?
Okay, to clarify, Dr. Smith is not Perry's contact inside humane labs.
No, yeah.
Right.
They're
Yeah.
different people.
Two different people.
Yes. Dr. Isaac Smith, or Pestilence, as it were, does not work at, nor is he, working for humane labs.
This is all very confusing to me.
Well, I mean, this entire situation is a little confusing considering it's not a natural sickness in and of itself. It's dealing with a fucking horseman. So, I mean, let's be honest.
Saying the quiet part out loud there, Jackie. Fucking
Anyways,
hell.
I want to ask. There's no horses. They drive cars.
Okay, it doesn't matter if they're cars.
Yeah, I know, but they're like horses. They're not riding around on horses.
Okay.
His point is that it's a weird thing we're dealing with.
This isn't okay. So I the best way I can place this for everyone in the room to understand is this is not a natural sickness that is happening. Hey, we can go in and study.
You didn't
it
need to bring it up, man.
This is
just didn't
something
need to bring
being
it up.
controlled by something that is not a normal human entity. That's the best way I can put it.
Didn't we just say that a cure was destroyed at humane labs?
A treatment was, but we still don't know how those
Chill, I
treatments
think for the
fully
3 months,
function,
buddy.
or if they have side effects or anything. I mean, the only
Thank
one
you for
that we've
spoiling the stream, man.
been able to get hold of is nonsensical when I actually look at the data of it. Not something that I can ever replicate. I've been trying, trust me.
Didn't even mention that that's one Dark gave
And
up.
as well as
Huh?
that, every patient that's been
Doesn't even mention
quote
it.
unquote cured of this there's nothing in their blood to show antibodies or anything that we can study to try and recreate some kind of treatment to work on them.
And yet, it does seem that people who get sick and then get cured don't seem to get sick again unless
They
actively
do
made
have
sick.
they have a immunity to a degree, but it does not it does not, like, if there is an entity that is higher infected, they can still continue to get infected again. They're not immune to getting fully infected, but they are basically protected to a degree.
I want to ask like a clarifying. Sama is the medical board, right? And I know there's doctors, but where is the biotech expertise coming from? Because there's doctors and then there's biotech engineers that manufacture cures. Where's this expertise coming from? I'm trying to understand that connection.
It's a bit of a strange question.
You get what I'm saying?
Are you saying the treatments that currently exist, or are you saying do
Well,
we
like
have
like the
biotech?
research of it or potential, because it sounds like that there's attempts to create cures at the hospital, but where I'm confused how that leap is happening, right? Like surgeons, virologists, etc.
You know, if you can
producing.
find those people, that would be great for all of us.
Well,
A lot of
I mean,
this has
we're-
fallen on Jackie and Perry's shoulders, and they've been doing a fantastic job with it. But there's, if we had unlimited manpower and people with the kind of like research backgrounds, that would be fantastic. But they're hard to find.
Is that what you guys were saying, Perry? Is that you guys are making that in the hospital?
Making what? If you were saying, are we researching and trying to create a treatment, then yes.
Yeah.
At Sandy, not at the CMC. We've been trying to work out a treatment that will help the patients that are currently dealing with it, of course. I mean, but unfortunately, it's just a lot of it is extremely difficult to understand because it's not very. Every single patient we've dealt with has a different strain to a degree, is the best way I can put it. And it changes each time. So like we can't nail down the exact mechanisms that are causing the sickness. And the treatments that we've seen are not natural in sense. Like the one that we've tested, it's not that it
Who are these
created
guys?
antibodies or like allowed the body to fight
I know
off
everybody
the
else in
infection.
here. I
It
think.
basically just removed it from
Who
them.
these guys are.
So
An undo button.
who is it doctors that are doing it? Are these outside?
No. It's literally just me and her. That's what Princess just let you know.
Oh, it's you two that are doing it. Okay, that's what I was trying to figure out.
Like
Was it
we're the ones that are mainly dealing with the this entire thing, and we've been trying our best to keep it together. I mean, the
see.
hospital is
So
informed of
it
the
wasn't we Sama, it's that you two actually, like you two individuals.
as part of the hospital and the attendings. Yes.
Oh.
Can we get you scientists, biotech engineers, etc.? Would that be helpful?
I mean, I'm more than happy for the excess help if there are people that are if there are people that are skilled in that, and we can use them. We unfortunately don't have that heavy
It's
manpower
Craig.
at the hospital, or we would be using it. We're kind of limited on who we have available to us. But if there is people that you have that are biotech engineers or are good at making are good at that, then we're more than happy to help to get the help, as long as they're accredited and are willing to help the hospital.
And
as
ideally,
long as
we
it's
want
not
them
just
to be
a
a little
random.
bit trustworthy. Yeah, I feel
Yeah,
like
as
a
long
lot
as
of our scientists around here are like scientists in the way that meth cooks are scientists.
Yeah, as long as it's not just some random person walking up saying there's something without actually like accrediting it, because that's the only issue we've had is we've had people walk up to us try and tell us they're these things, and it's like we can't confirm that.
I'm trying to fill that logical gap of like where the bioscience is coming into play, and this is nothing, no attack on you two, right? I'm trying to
I understand
There's
what you're saying.
expertise in medicine, and then there's expertise in biotech. Two very different fields. There are some I'm going to send you your way. I definitely understand the accreditation bit. If we can't rely on, you know, anyone from Humane Lab, that's a problem, right? But in the same way, I can't imagine we're going to expect people with a medical degree to come up with a solution either. It goes against science.
Do we think that the formula of the stuff that was used could be like subpoenaed, or are Humane Lab's going to throw up all sorts of like roadblocks in the way that it would take too long for it to even be worth it?
That's what I want to try and do. I want to try and get the formula from Humane Labs and then get help from the outside.
Mm.
Well, I think another overarching issue here as well is we had no idea that a shipment was even leaving Humane Labs to where, you know, law enforcement could aid in transporting it and possibly intercepting anyone to interfere with it. But it
Objection
also
asked and
might be
answered.
good to work with people that are willing to work with us so that, you know, law enforcement or marshals can, you know, be at Humane Labs while they are there and also kind of watching over them and protecting them due to recent events that have happened there. I know since that I learned of the shipment being intercepted at Humane Labs, I have been doing regular patrols and check-ins over there. But again, with the sensitivity of the content and things being made there and being done there, we need to know. We need to know, and like not necessarily the details of what they're working on, but we need to know that they're there and active. That way, we can try to get ahead of anything that anyone else would try to interrupt what they're doing.
Yeah, that was definitely a lapse in someone's judgment, but we have no way of knowing who. I mean, the fact that there was no protection for that, despite it being, you
I-
know, gold.
To be fair, from Humane Labs, I don't think they're fully informed on the situation as far as that. They're just producing whatever this is and then sending it out. So I don't think they're thinking from a perspective of, oh, I need to inform PD so they can protect it. Like they're thinking from a perspective of their normal job is, hey, we've produced this, send it out in shipment, you know?
But someone knows what it is.
I'm not saying there's not leaks. I'm just saying like the entity.
Well,
is
I'm just
Humane
saying
Lab,
that they're working for someone. They are aware, like someone has to be aware of the illness in order for them to be coming up with some kind of treatment, and whether or not the scientists themselves or the producers know what they're producing, someone has to be aware of what they're doing in order for them to even be producing it at all, unless it's some kind of cure-all
This is
that
this is
has
chasing
nothing to do
girls,
with this
man.
illness but could
This
help.
is just chasing girls.
Is the treatment that Humane Labs is producing specifically for this black vein fever? Or are they producing like some kind of Tamiflu that just happens to help with a lot of different things?
I mean, we haven't been able to test any of the ones to know if it is effective on anything else. The only thing that we've been able to seems to be effective on everything for the most part, but I don't know if that one came from Humane Labs. So I can't state that verbatim.
I want to go talk to Benny, man. I thought Craig was here. No? I could have sworn Craig was here.
I guess actionably, we've got what Marshall's patrolling Humane Labs. Hopefully, the contact that you have, Perry, is able to reach out to you if there's another sort of shipment of this, and if there's a way to get a subpoena of some sort to get their formula, that would be fantastic. Other than that, at the moment, it seems like we're for the most part relying on cures that are being given by pestilence, and that I have been very curious to observe and see if there's any sort of rhyme or reason to when he gives people cures and what kind and how. it doesn't seem like there's any sort of rule system that he follows other than he seems to like Ember. That's it.
Well, and we also don't know that these cures that he's giving won't cause something, has, long-term effects either. So,
Sure, but we also
No.
don't know that about, our cell phones. I think
Look, I mean,
it's
at the end of the day, right now, the only thing we can say is anyone who
It's a
has
wild
been,
comparison.
had gone through these treatments, hasn't shown any adverse effects to them as of yet. I
feel
don't know
fine.
the long-term effects of it by any means, but there are no short-term effects as of yet.
And there are, certain bits of, I guess I would call them propaganda that have been, spread around that have said things like, "Oh, be careful if you take the cure; it's got all these effects." And I know certain people are feeling very, are very hesitant, reluctant to take the cure, and are refusing it because of these bits and pieces that we know don't come from the source of the illness. So, pestilence isn't the one warning us. We don't know what the credibility is of those sources, but there's definitely some amount of someone out there is giving people warnings about this.
Yeah, I believe there was a book left at the BCSO indicating something similar, that the cure was not all that it seemed. And yeah.
I heard something about this too. Something about like the cure is allegedly like mind control or some shit like that.
The book
Yeah,
that was
what?
left at the police departments is called The Cure. It was a book, essentially a
How the
fictional
fuck does she
story
know this shit?
that says it has a disclaimer. It's like, this is not a real story, but consider how similar it might be to your situation or something like that. And it basically is just TLDR, a story about a doctor who comes to a town where everyone's getting sick with a disease, and he says, "I've seen this disease before, I know how to cure it." He gives a bunch of people a cure, everyone starts questioning it. They're like, "How do you know the cure?" And then he is like, "Haha, I actually developed the illness, and that's why I know the cure, and actually now everyone who has taken the cure has superpowers." And then all the people who have the cure are like, "We're better than everyone else," and they create a class system, and anarchy ensues. Um,
Yep.
yeah.
Basically, the moral of the story in and of itself was that he was perfecting people, quote unquote, in his way, but changing them, in the process. Because that thing was saying that their emotions and whatnot changed. They were not the same people they were originally.
And weirdly, one of the characters had my name, which freaked me out. But that's probably coincidence.
Probably, but regardless, we haven't seen any changes in anyone that has received the cure or the treatment itself. It has not caused any changes in anyone's mental. The only thing we've seen is that some people are healthier than they used to be, is all. So technically a positive, if anything. We don't have any other means of dealing with this from our end at all. Like, nothing works. No antihistamines, no any of our treatment methods that we want to use. The only thing we can do is stave off it from going any further in them, but we have no other means of actually curing it or removing it from their system. And as well as, again, Pestilence is not working with Humane Labs, so he is not the one producing these treatments.
Do we have any evidence that it has been created?
The treatment, or
yeah, is that the same? Is that ties back to the unnamed contact, right?
I'm confused. Are you talking about the treatment, or are we talking about the sickness?
The treatment.
I mean, we've seen the vials themselves. I mean, so we know they are being made. Yeah.
And that's separate from the pestilence ones?
I don't know if any have come from Pestilence at all himself.
Oh.
Well, but the vials that Pestilence has, the
on
cure
about?
or whatever it is, the red vial, that's not the same as the thing being produced at Humane Labs? Or is it?
I don't know on that one. I couldn't tell you one way or the other, and unfortunately, I mean, we have not. The only ones we've seen from that end have been directly from Humane Labs, and generally they're given to people immediately, and we can't really, do any research
Okay.
on them.
So you
Uh,
guys haven't directly seen the ones provided by Pestilence?
We've only seen one from Dark himself here, but that one I don't know if that came from Humane Labs.
No, it didn't.
Yeah, so I think that one is different.
But Perry got the one from Humane Labs.
Under duress, I had to take it.
Yes.
So
I
so
have-
Jackie's seen the Pestilence one. Perry has seen the Humane Labs one, but neither of you have seen the other one. Is that what I'm hearing?
Pretty much.
Okay. So at the very just super basic, were both of them red?
Yes.
Don't think the one that Dark gave me was red. I can't remember though.
It
Dark,
was,
do you
yeah.
remember?
It was
Yeah,
red.
if it was
Okay.
from
It
Pestilence, it's the
was.
red one.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's possible it's the same one.
I mean,
Is
it's-
it possible that none of the Humane Lab stuff is true? If they're both red, I'm being very skeptical here, right? Because we talked a lot about things that supposedly happen, and as a very as a massive skeptic, right? I'm just wondering if there's even truth to any of what we've been hearing. I believe we heard these things. I'm just questioning whether what was heard actually happened or was just bullshit.
I don't think anything is confirmed now. I think anything from Humane Labs is yet to be confirmed, given we haven't got our hands on anything.
Like I'm
So-
imagining in the back of my head, like Zebra doing some like wild shit in Humane
Mhm.
Labs, saying he's got a cure and all this, and it just spreading around, and none of it's actually real.
Yeah, I mean, we know that Pestilence is aware of the supposed shipment being intercepted. Whether that's accurate or not is just up to whether you believe him. But whatever the case, I think even if the interception did happen, I agree with your skepticism, Nino, and I think that there's no way to confirm that it even happened. But if it did, there's still no way to confirm that the treatment was viable or that it was even a treatment. And I personally wouldn't trust that if we were able to, find any of that treatment that had been intercepted, I don't know if I would trust it to be given to any citizen of San Andreas.
Okay. I think that's sorted then. We've got Pestilence handing out his cure, and then we've got a possible treatment being developed at Humane Labs, but the validity and security has yet to be confirmed. But I think Perry and Dr. Legs here are doing the right thing in following that up and trying to at least get their hands on some so it can be tested and that kind of thing. That's it. We're done. We don't have to keep going back and forth on this, I think. Is there anything else plague related we need to talk about?
Was there anything more you wanted to go through?
Not that I can think of.
I mean, unless anyone else has anything they want to talk about it specifically, I think that's it from our end.
I think the only thing I'll say is, if anybody here is getting contact about anything related to this, just make sure you're contacting, law enforcement, preferably, of the detective type or marshals like myself and Peters. Just keep us in the loop about everything.
I'd say probably go straight to the marshals. I mean, BCSO is banned from investigating this stuff, so
I mean,
At the very
LSPD is
least.
still doing their side of things, though. So I mean, like
Yes.
Aaron and Doc Masters are available.
What do you
Wait,
mean
that-
they're banned?
Yeah.
That
Aspen
self did it.
Aspen has self-banned. Aspen has requested that none of her investigators go into this because a lot of them got sick and nearly died, and the there's just a significant amount of danger associated with this that is beyond anything that they have the ability to match.
Should I spill the tea?
And Pestilence has made it very clear
Okay.
that the investigation is what is causing them to get sick.
Is that not like borderline dereliction of duty?
No.
No, because the issue from their side is what are they going to do from a law enforcement side other than like they'll follow up any like information that's given to them, of course. And that's their job. They will, but they like we've said, they're not arresting this guy. He literally has been shot by people and nothing's happened to him. Like this is not like you can't put him in jail. So what is PD supposed to do about that?
And he has directly made people sick and then made them sicker for investigating and said, you are on a 3-strike system. If you mess with him, if you continue investigating, you get more sick.
I have unconfirmed reports that in return of of Sheriff Gray banning BCSO, in return she got 2 vials of the cure.
Was that handed over to the hospital?
No, I believe it was
We have not
handed
received any
to
cure vials,
specific
no.
people to cure them. But again, that's unconfirmed. Get that big fucking wooden spoon out.
There's also been, a large number of people who have been given at least one, potentially multiple doses of the cure to give to other people. Pestilence seems to have a distaste for people who take the cure themselves, if given it, and generally gives it to people who aren't sick to give to other people.
He's told you this?
Yes, and I've experienced it firsthand of him giving it to people. I haven't experienced him giving it to people, but people who have it give it to other people. I was told that certain individuals have taken it themselves, and I have heard from him directly that he considers them selfish for what they are doing, and they are most likely not going to receive any more help from him. I know that Chatterbox was given 2 cures, and those went to Happy and Twinkles, both of whom he got sick. So
How often are you talking to this guy?
me?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I've talked to him maybe 4 times total. He has a tendency to pull up on me when I'm parked on the side of the road, like on my phone or something.
Okay.
But a lot of this is from secondhand information or information from people, who have talked to him. Like I said, there's a...
I think his ears were burning because he's calling me right now.
Oh, lovely.
Oh, great.
Not surprising.
Wait, Princess, who did you get your vial from?
Having fun, are we?
Don't really have fun anymore, Isaac.
Did I not warn you about that name?
You said you didn't care about it. The last conversation we had.
I don't care about it, but it is an incorrect name to speak to me as such. The other, however, may find grievance with it.
Well, I'd request you don't mention it to him then.
I haven't spoken with that one in quite some time. He has his means.
You've got a point. How can I help you, Isaac? Oh, sorry, Dr. Smith.
Well, I no doubt you'll inform the rest of that little circus this conversation took place, and possibly the details. So how about this? Similar to you and our house arrest mutual. You keep this off record, under the table.
I'm afraid I already told them you were calling, so the cat's out of the bag.
That is fine. I call many people. The details, however.
You haven't exactly said anything important for me not to tell anybody.
Let me ask you a question. How much do you trust those in that room?
I trust them in a professional sense.
Even the mayors?
I trust that for the most part the mayors have their people's best interests in mind.
And from your perspective, they could do no wrong / would never poison the well.
I didn't say that. But I also know that's the exact same thing you said to Princess Elena.
And she is still oblivious to the meaning of it. Her mouth moves faster than her brain, to put it bluntly. The red string theories that she comes up with. She thinks she's on the same page. She's not even in the same book.
Would you like me to inform her of that?
This information is for you. If you were to tell her, then she would adjust her ways. Consider it my nudge.
Okay.
Now, your little Marshal in there, so upset that you're lacking so much information.
We don't all have, what's the word there? Omnipotence?
If you had half a brain cell, you'd be doing so much better.
Yeah, you stole the other half and you killed me.
You're still walking in the land of the living. I could have left you there. I'm sure plenty of individuals on this island would have been appreciative of that.
Yeah, I'm sure they would.
Even some close to your heart. And before you start thinking, oh, don't listen to him, he's just trying to get into your head, I'm already within you. I have no need of getting into your head. And I have no further need of, as others in that circus have done, poison the well.
I'm still questioning why you've called, other than to boast your knowledge that you know everything that's been said in that room.
A warning, Richard. What perhaps just shouldn't be over the phone. You're familiar with the overlook of Ratton Canyon?
Where's that?
Follow the road northwest of Sandy to Stab City. A little off trail.
Right.
An observation deck. It should be
Folks, we're all
easy
gonna
for you to
die.
find.
Judgment Day. The best we can do is try.
Once that meeting is finished, I'll be there. Waiting.
I'll see you there.
You stay safe, won't you?
Chris?
Thanks.
I need to know if that was dark.
I'll be watching.
Put yourself inside of Sandy.
No. No.
Anyone that is there, go into Sandy.
The stuff I'm hearing is like
What's going on?
Apparently, Perry got a call. Pestilence is circling Sandy.
Sean, unfortunately,
there might
I
not
don't think that.
possibly, there might not possibly be a cure right now, but I think if we can understand what is happening, that can lead us to a cure.
Yeah, and I would say that unless, I mean, I don't really know what kind of misconduct this could be beyond if we treat it as just a regular guy doing biological terrorism, then yes, it's probably misconduct to not investigate it.
To me, the sheriff getting cures given to her and giving them to people and not the doctors is wild.
yeah, that's
I
insane.
agree. Wait, did you not?
I mean,
know about
Dark-
this, Falconer?
This is the first time hearing of any like the PCSO being banned.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah,
Dark
it
gets a
was-
cure and does the right thing and hands it over to the medical board, and then they get a cure and hand it out. Like, I don't understand that.
If
One
I
of
could get
them-
a sample of the cure, I can start researching it.
Yeah, I think it's crazy that I didn't realize that the doctors haven't had their hands on the cure before. I kind of assumed that it was that they had already done all the research on it, because it seemed like that would be the first step, that people would just give it to the doctors. But I guess not. I mean, I don't know whether it would even help, but yeah, I think that any cure should go directly to the doctors. I will also say, what was I don't even remember what I was going to say.
Okay.
Oh, the cure turns to nothing very, very quickly. I mean, I think that's a lot of why
I'll go back
people
into the menu.
have, used it very quickly, is because
All right.
after like a couple of hours, it just turns
I just
useless.
that's fine. I have equipment at Humane Labs as the director where I can get more research on the cure than what the doctors have at the hospital.
I don't know.
The director of what?
So, are you saying that we should, if any of us get a hand on the cure, we should give it to you as opposed to the doctors,
I'm gonna drive up to Sandy, watch over.
or
Uh,
rather,
Jackie
as
and
opposed
Yeah,
Mary.
to,
sounds good.
I
like
don't
the
mind working with them, but I
CMC?
went to them with my credentials and I was turned away. So I don't know that they want to work with me.
To put a pause in this for a second, while I was on the phone with Dr. Smith, he gave information that suggested he knows everything we're talking about in this room.
Checks
Oh,
out.
there's a fucking camera, isn't there?
Always watching.
Well,
Cigarette packets bugged.
yeah, probably something like that. Some of the saber rattling that you may have heard coming from me. Look, I would like to reapproach Sama in regards to this. I don't want to downplay what they're working on, but look, if we're going to talk rationally about it, they are medical doctors. Jason over here is a accredited scientist. Doc, have you been introduced to Jason and her credentials?
No, this is the first I'm hearing of it. And what exactly is Jason, or ma'am, what are you the director of that?
I'm the director of Humane Labs.
Is
My God,
since when?
this one's got a dick behind this painting, bro. Someone drew a dick going behind this one.
For over a year.
Wait, so the whole thing about the interception of the transport and everything, were you thinking really hard during that, or are you just unaware of it?
That place, unfortunately, is not as secure as it should be. There are people going in and out of there all of the time, working their hocus pocus, creating really random stuff. It could have been a cure. It could have not been a cure. And yes, I have been thinking really hard and also working on some intrusive thoughts while in the meeting. So I've been listening, just not able to speak as much as I would have liked.
Yeah, I'm just so that's perfectly fine. Does
fuck?
that should I take that to mean though that the treatment that was intercepted was not you know a Humane
Official.
Labs official treatment?
That was not an official treatment. No.
Okay, and none of your I guess if you have people working there, there were I guess it must have been like after hours or something, but there was not visual of anyone intercepting a shipment or anything happening like that.
Not from any of my employees.
Okay.
Who are your employees,
My
man?
employees have. Pardon?
Who are your employees?
There is myself, Gigi Gambino, and a security force.
I've got a list of doctors that were on the roster of Humane Labs for the month of January. Can you name any of those?
Not in January, no.
Okay.
Wait, sorry, what was that? Like doctors at Humane Lab?
Yeah, the doctors that have been involved with this case for good or bad reasons. I have it.
Non-Sama doctors, I presume.
Yeah, Humane Labs.
Got it. This
I don't
is
know, this-
kind of what I was alluding to, like earlier in the conversation, right? There's Humane Labs, and I put that in quotes. And from my own experience, there's been a lot of Humane Labs individuals. Once again, I'm quoting with the coffee cup in my hand. Knowing what's up and knowing what's down is, is it Zebra? Is it some random people that showed up over there? Is it, Jason's team, right? Is it who is it? My fear, my general fear is it's important for us not to just assume that Sama is our only solution. They're a medical, they're a medical wing, right? Inherently speaking, if we're talking science here, there is only so much a doctor can do when it comes to producing a cure. If we have people in San Andreas, if we have a mechanism by which we can figure out their credentials, we should be leaning on them. If that means getting background checks by the marshals and DOJ, whatever it is, we need to take those approaches. It sounds like, with the only option I've been hearing is, sounds like swinging a magic wand around and hoping pestilence, goes back to, whatever magical hole he came in.
Pestiland. Yeah, I was not aware of the doctors refusing aid from Jason. I don't know why they would do that.
If I may, because I've heard